Hi everyone, it's Jenny from jccards.com and I'm so pleased to be joining you today as part of a video hop celebrating Ardyth's reaching a great milestone of 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Way to go Ardyth, and happy birthday! We've got some great sponsors for some awesome prizes and there's over 20 stops on the hop. So if you're watching this video before June the 11th, 2018, be sure to check out the details in the description below for the next stop on the hop and check out Ardyth's blog for more details of the prizes that can be won. They're super awesome. Today I'm going to show you how to make a shaped shaker card that features lots of bright and cheery colours because the theme of the hop is summer. To get started, I'm using a panel of Bristol smooth cardstock. I'm using this cardstock because it's much easier to do ink blending on. I find this and also watercolour cold press cardstock such as Canson XL are much better for ink blending on, and you avoid getting any of those marks that can be left by the distress tool. And what I'm doing is I'm inking up a stamp that I thought looked a little bit like an orange slice from the Ellen Hutson Rustic Botanicals stamp set. The orange slices, it kind of gives a bit more of a feel of, you know, a nice hot Florida summer. And I'm inking up with VersaMark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, and stamping it all over the panel of Bristol Smooth. I'm then heat embossing it with some white embossing powder. Then I'm going to do the ink blending. For that I'm using Catherine Pooler inks. In my first colour is one of the newest inks that she released, Limoncello, which is a really nice bright yellow colour. And I'm starting from the bottom and I'm inking all the way to the top with Limoncello. And with Bristol Smooth you really don't have to worry about getting any ink blending tool marks or anything like that. You can see I'm being not that careful and I'm fading it out gently towards the top. I'm then using Tiara, which is a slightly darker yellow, and I'm starting from the bottom again, blending up. And what I actually tend to do when I'm doing ink blending in an ombre look is go over the same ink with each colour and just stop a little bit further down from the top. I'm then using Bellini, which is a nice peachy orangey colour, and I'm inking that up from the bottom again and going approximately halfway up. And then the last colour I'm going to use is Orange Twist, which is a nice deep orange colour, and I'm just going to do the lower portion of the cardstock with the Orange Twist. I'm actually going to iron off the heat embossing by laying down the cardstock between two pieces of printer paper and laying it down onto a tea towel, and then ironing over the top of it until the actual heat embossing just lifts off and will remain on the printer paper itself. That way you get a really smooth finish and it's actually really easy to stamp over the top of it. You don't have to deal with the heat embossed part, but it will leave behind white shapes from whatever it is that you've heat embossed. I'm then taking the coordinating dies for the Rustic Botanicals set by Ellen Hutson, and using the floral die I measured to make sure that the stem could reach the part that I die cut, and then I die cut it out from the centre. I'm then taking the stem from the stamp set and inking it up in Midnight Ink by Catherine Pooler. I was originally going to keep that as was, but you'll see later on that I kind of changed the way I was going to go. I'm then heat embossing the floral itself in VersaMark ink, and then I'm going to heat emboss it in gold. But just to make sure that I can get it on my cardstock in the right place, I'm lining up my front panel with the die cut window and then laying the stamp inside. And by lifting off the panel, you've got the image in the exact right place. I'm just using a panel of Catherine Pooler premium white cardstock to do this, and I've trimmed it down so that it's shorter than the back of the ink blended panel, and that way I can use it as the backer to my shaker without too much hassle. So I'm using Ranger Superfine Gold embossing powder and I'm applying that over the top. I did treat it with a powder tool beforehand so that I didn't get any embossing powder sticking where I didn't want it, and then I'm heating embossing it. Now what I'm going to do is apply some liquid glue at the back of the ink blended panel and adhere down a piece of acetate, which is going to be the piece of the shaker window that keeps all the bits inside. I'm using art glitter glue here, which if anyone's used it, it's amazing. I cannot say enough good things about this glue, and I highly recommend it. It's the first glue I found where it has a super fine tip and it doesn't get clogged, no matter how much I abuse it. I'm then using some thin strips of foam tape which I've doubled up, and I'm just bending them round the outer edge of the window itself. And that's going to add dimension and make sure that it keeps my shaker bits inside. For my shaker bits, I'm using the Peachy Tiny Leaves sequins by Honeybee Stamps, and I'm just going to tip them into the center of the embossed flower and then place my panel over the top, and the foam tape will adhere to the panel, and because we did the lining up at the beginning, it all matches and works out. You don't have to do much trimming of any paper or anything like that. I've added liquid glue to the back and foam tape for the set to get even dimension. I've adhered it to a card base made from 110-pound Nina Solar White. So here you'll see I'm changing my idea slightly. So I've die cut the stems using the coordinating dies before stamping, and that's because the stamp itself is a little bendy, so it's actually quite hard to get it stamping exactly right, then die cut it. So I'm inking it up with VersaMark ink. I lined it up, and then I'm just going to stamp down and then heat emboss it with the same Ranger Superfine Gold embossing powder that we used on the flower. And then I'm going to pop it up on foam tape, and I will overlap it over my original black stamping. And it doesn't matter if any of it peeps around the edges, because it actually ends up looking like it's got a shadow at the back. But that wasn't actually my original idea. I was just going to keep it black. And then all you have to do is take the die cut heat embossed stem and line it up. I'm now using the Spread the Sparkle sentiment set by Ellen Hudson, and I'm going to trim one of the sentiments down. It does say today is a good day too, and I just trimmed off the 2. You can always put it back again if you want to. So I just heat embossed the today is a good day onto black cardstock. I used VersaMark ink again, treated it with my powder tool, used VersaMark ink and added white embossing powder, and then trimmed it out with my trimmer, and then popped it up on foam tape overlapping the stem. So I used a double layer of foam tape on one side just for extra dimension. And as a finishing touch, I added some yellow and clear sequins just around the sentiment to finish the card. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, don't forget this is part of a video hop. Your next stop along the hop is in the description below. Please leave a comment on each stop of the hop to be in with a chance to win if you're watching this before June the 11th, 2018. And that finishes the card for today. Thank you very much for joining. If you've enjoyed this, please do check out my other videos as well and subscribe to my channel. Thanks very much. Have an awesome day. Bye.